Welcome everyone to our 2020 Hispanic Heritage Month celebration and awards ceremony. Tonight, we honor distinguished members of our Hispanic community across Central Florida during this Heritage Month. Many of you may know the Constitution in Article 1, Section 5 requires Congress keep a journal of its proceedings. Different versions of the congressional record date back as far as 1789 with the Congress, and it was first published in its modern form in 1873. The congressional record is a chronicle of our nation's history, with all of its triumphs and struggles, both the good times and the difficult times. Generations will look back and see the great debates being had as our country grapples with recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic, with justice issues that face our country in an economic recovery. And of course, during this time period, they will also see all of your stories. Your life stories are now part of the congressional record of those we're honoring here tonight, part of our shared American story. The most rewarding thing about tonight is the stories. Each of yours is remarkable and well-deserving to be recognized in Congress's official record. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about some of the victories and challenges that we face during this Hispanic Heritage Month that began obviously on September 15th, going to October 15th. We have now 38 members of the Hispanic Caucus. We are indeed the most Hispanic and in general the most diverse Congress in the history of our nation. And that makes a huge difference when we're pursuing issues like the Latino Smithsonian Museum that bill recently passed the House and awaits effort in the Senate. This is so important to tell our stories, stories that date back to both the Native American cultures and European cultures and African cultures that make up the Hispanic community today, including here in Florida. We also have many challenges. COVID-19 has hit our community particularly hard, as we see it every day. So many of our fellow Hispanics are essential workers who kept our economy running, and our first responders who kept people, healed people and kept people safe. So many of us still need health insurance, and it's something we will need to fulfill as we improve our nation going forward. And many of us live in multi-generational families where it puts the family more at risk, which is why we fought so hard for mobile testing across the district in many of these areas. And I want to thank many of the nonprofits who are on the line here today who helped in that important work, along with our local hospitals and health departments and federally qualified health clinics. We know we have to have an economic recovery. So many of our brothers and sisters work at the parks and hotels and in the service industry who've been laid off, and Congress needs to come together with an updated HEROES Act so that we could bring the virus to a close and bring our economy back to prosperity. We know we have great challenges in immigration, seeing children separated at the border, seeing refugees being denied due process, seeing an immigration system that's been grinded to a halt because of taking discretion away from judges and instituting a zero tolerance policy. We saw victories of the DACA program be upheld by the Supreme Court for now, something that we need to continue to push as we pass the Dream and Promise Act through the House, but we need to make it law, protecting our dreamers, those with TPS, temporary protective status, and also help out our farm workers and DAPA, the families of both citizens and dreamers. We need to work on recovery from Hurricane Maria and Hurricane Irma back in my family's native island of Puerto Rico, and come out of the issues with PROMESA down there. And of course, our community also is at grips with the justice issues going on across the nation after the murder of George Floyd. Whether people are of European, Indian, or African descent, or for many of us, a mixture of all three, our community is faced with justice issues that we need to continue to work on with justice reforms that the House Democrats have passed out of our chamber. With that, I want to get started and congratulate all of our honorees. Many of you may know that you've already gotten your videos of us reading your histories into the congressional record on the House floor. As we know how important it is nowadays with social media and with so many of your families. I hope that they enjoyed that moment. It's somewhat for you because you all are amazing honorees, but it's also for your parents, your spouses, your kids, your coworkers. You are the product, and your success is the product of so many people who helped you get to these moments. In honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, I would like to honor Pamela and Estela Juarez, distinguished daughters of Florida. For nearly 20 years, Cuauhtemoc, known as Timo Juarez, and his wife, Alejandra Juarez, worked together to build and sustain their American dream in Polk County, Florida. Mr. Juarez, a naturalized U.S. citizen, grew up in Osceola County and enlisted in the United States Marine Corps right after graduating from high school. He would later re-enlist in the U.S. Army Reserves. After his honorable discharge from the Marines, he came home and started his own flooring business and met and married Mrs. Alejandra Juarez. Together, they worked hard to make their home and their business a success. They built a home, joined a church, volunteered to help the less fortunate, and had two beautiful and brave daughters, Pamela and Estela. 2 years ago, their dreams were shattered when Mrs. Juarez was deported under the current administration's zero tolerance policy. Despite the roots she set down, despite her husband's brave and honorable service in combat, despite the fact that her husband and two daughters are U.S. citizens, she was forced to return to Mexico in August of 2018. Pamela is now 18 years old. She recently graduated from high school with honors, has started online college classes, and plans to become a social worker. She has campaigned to build a grassroots support and movement for families of military veterans who, like her, have lost a family member to a cruel immigration policy. This November, she will vote for the first time. Estela, 11 years of age, lived with her mom in Mexico after she was forced to leave the country, but is now back in Florida, where she just started the 6th grade. She is following in the footsteps of civil rights leaders like the legendary John Lewis, who we lost recently, whose book March has inspired her. Estela is now working on a picture book about her struggle to reunite her family, and was recently featured in the National Democratic Convention at 11 years old. Incredible. Both young women have suffered enormously because of the trauma the family has endured. They and their father have been working hard to bring their mother home, will continue to do so until they are reunited. And just 2 weeks ago, the Congressional Hispanic Caucus endorsed our bill, the Protecting Patriot Spouses Act, that we hope to get hearings before the end of this year to queue up for potential passage in the next Congress. And with that, Ms. Pamela and Estela Juarez, we honor you and would love to give you a moment to say a few words. Do we have them on?
This is Alejandra Juarez, the mama of Estela and Pamela. Unfortunately.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah,
please,
unfortunately.
Where's yours, Alejandra?
Thank you very much, Congressman Soto, for this, for honoring my daughters. They're great kids, great teenager, Pamela now. They have gone through a tremendous pain. And yes, I'm here by myself. They're in Florida, unfortunately, and we're not together. But thank you very much. I appreciate it for everything you do, Congressman Soto. Thank you.
Alejandra, we're honored by your presence and staying united with you to do everything we can to get you back home to Davenport, Florida. And we couldn't be prouder of Pamela and Estela, two young women who embody the spirit of powerful Latinas to watch in the future in Central Florida. I know that they will continue to be amazing leaders, and I look forward to seeing the new history they write years to come. Thank you so much, Alejandra, for being with
My
us.
husband just wants to say a few words.
Please, Timo, please.
Hey, Mr. Congressman Soto, I can thank you enough for everything you have done for us and our military families. I really appreciate it. You don't know how much this means to us. And thank you so much for everything you have done.
Mr. Rars, thank you for your service to our country on multiple occasions, and your story inspires us.
Yes. Thank you for spearheading this bill, and I'm pretty sure all the military families will thank you. We can thank you enough for everything you have done for everyone. Thank you so much.
We're honored to serve those who served, and thank you again for your sacrifices and your whole family sacrifices on behalf of a grateful nation. Now we have to make sure that Congress recognizes it by reuniting your family and others.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Soto. Thank you.
In honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, oh, and I should be putting these up after I read them. They're very beautiful. You're all going to be getting them in the mail with the cover attached to it. And of course, you should have all gotten your videos ready. In honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, we would like to recognize Pastor Jose Rodriguez. Jose Rodriguez arrived in Palmetto, Florida at the age of 12 from El Salvador. Excuse me, we have two Jose Rodriguez's. Oh my gosh. So we're going to reset that one. Forgive me. We're honoring Jose Rodriguez of Polk County. And Jose Rodriguez arrived in Palmetto, Florida at the age of 12 from El Salvador. While attending school, he recalls being pulled out of regular class for 2 hours a day to practice English. Incredible. During his first 5 years in the United States, Mr. Rodriguez and his family were migrant farm workers living 9 months in Florida and 3 months up north following the crops, as he said, with the help of Summer Migrant Institute held in Tampa at the University of South Florida. Mr. Rodriguez graduated early from high school at the top 10% of his class. He was the first Hispanic person in Manatee County to be accepted into a 4-year university where he earned an associate's degree. Mr. Rodriguez has worked as a general manager and on-air personality for La Que Buena, a regional Mexican radio station in Orlando. As part of his work, he makes sure to give airtime to nonprofit organizations and elected officials that support the immigrant community while sharing his passion for music with his listeners. Mr. Rodriguez always keeps Central Floridians informed on community resources like food drives, housing assistance, COVID-19 testing sites, and much more. Mr. Rodriguez also serves on the leadership committee of the Farm Workers Association of Florida. He draws his inspiration from his community, his 2 beautiful daughters, and his late wife. And he and others with the Farm Workers Association have been integral in helping our fight to pass our farm worker reform bill that establishes 5-year visas and a pathway to citizenship for farm workers, something that'll be key not only for our farm workers, but also for our whole region as we seek to unite families. And with that, Mr. Jose Rodriguez, the floor is yours. Thank you for being here. Do we have him on the line?
Yes, I see him. He's on mute. We have to unmute, or if he can unmute. Mr. Jose Rodriguez, you're muted. Thank you.
There we go. Well, first of all, I would like to thank you, Congressman Soto, for everything that you do for our community. And great inspiration. I have been to many of your, wherever you have been here in Central Florida, especially when the Farmers Association has been there. I have seen, but I'm always staying in the back. But I would like to thank you for everything that you're doing for the community. And I would like to thank my parents and my sister. They're in here somewhere watching this video. I am honored to receive this award. We'll always be trying to help our community and basically do whatever we can, because everybody asks me, why is it that you do what you do? When we first got here, when I was 12 years old, there was other people that did what I'm doing, but I'm never probably going to be able to meet them or to thank them for what they do for our community or what they did for me. So now I'm just paying it forward, basically, is what I'm doing. So thank you very much, and it's an honor for me to receive this award.
Mr. Rodriguez, thanks for what you do for our farm worker community, which spans 2-3 generations now in many areas of the district and beyond. And what you said was really important. When you're talking about, you'll find me in the back of the room trying to stay out of the limelight. That's what this Heritage Month Award is all about. Highlighting so many of the unsung heroes that are doing amazing work in our community and aren't always highlighted because none of you asked to get these awards. We are recognizing it with the help of my staff, of course, like Vivian Rodriguez and Sheila Asensio and many others. But we want to recognize you, even if some of you like to be in the back of the room and not seek the limelight, because it's important for Central Floridians to know your stories, for America to know your stories, and to say thank you for all the great work that you're doing in our community. Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez, for being here today and for your amazing words.
Thank you very much.
In honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, we would like to recognize Illuminata Aponte. Illuminata Aponte was born in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, and has called the United States home for over 6 decades. Illuminata is a self-taught folk artist whose career has taken her first to Puerto Rico and then to Florida. Illuminata's career first started with folk dance, baile folklorico. She performs both Puerto Rican and Dominican folk dance. From Puerto Rican bomba to Dominicana bachata, Illuminata has not only been a performer, but also a dance teacher. Her passion for teaching folk dance inspires people of all ages, and she has made it her responsibility to advocate for and help educate various Hispanic groups through dance and cultural exhibitions. Illuminata's career has been one of strengthening communities through cultural celebrations. She considers herself a cultural ambassador, not only for her native Dominican Republic, but also for the entire Hispanic community. Her early experience as a missionary across Latin America has inspired her to connect people to each other by celebrating cultural diversity. Illuminata's commitment to promoting culture and the arts is not only seen in the diversity of her works, but also in her leadership within the community. Illuminata is the founder of Alianza Dominicana of Central Florida, where she organizes and directs various cultural exhibitions highlighting Dominican and Hispanic culture to various groups within Central Florida. She has been recognized with awards from the Orange County government, the City of Orlando government, the Council General of the Dominican Republic in Miami, and more. And as a personal aside, I think we all know, going to many cultural events over the years, that she is a mainstay, that she is one of the folks who helps make these cultural events brighter and more vibrant. And for that, Miss Illuminata Aponte, we honor you, and the floor is yours.
Gracias, muchas gracias. Yo lo voy a decir en español.
Sí, claro.
Mr. Soto, por todas aquellas cosas que usted hace por la comunidad latina. Es impresionante. Yo me siento muy orgullosa de usted con ese tan increíble trabajo que usted está haciendo por nosotros. Nos está haciendo reconocer en esta comunidad tan grande que es multicultural. Y yo siempre voy a llevar el estandarte de la cultura, especialmente la cultura dominicana, porque de ahí nací yo. Pero soy boricua también, porque a mí me adoptaron en Puerto Rico como hija de Puerto Rico. Y yo le debo mucho también a Puerto Rico. Gracias por todo, me siento orgullosa y quiero que mi familia también tengan ese orgullo. El legado que yo le dejo a todos mis hijos y a mis compatriotas y junto con las otras nacionalidades. Dios lo bendiga a todos. Me siento muy feliz, privilegiada y orgullosa.
Gracias, doña Ponte, y gracias por su presencia por muchos años en todos estos eventos, bailando y por arte, y para empezando la generación nueva en todos estos eventos. Y está obvio, usted es una boricua honoraria y yo estoy muy orgulloso para trabajar con mis amigos dominicanos en el Congreso. Espejar es un gran amigo de mí y también yo trabajé con Daisy Baez en la legisladora de Florida esta unión del Caribeano es muy importante con dominicanas, cubanas y puertorriqueños. Y gracias por todas sus contribuciones culturales.
Amén.
In honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, we would like to recognize Dr. Antonio Crespo. Dr. Antonio Crespo is an infectious disease specialist in Central Florida with over 18 years of experience in this field. In May of 2014, he led the team that cared for the second case of Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome, MERS, in the United States. Currently, he is part of the team that has prepared and managed the COVID-19 pandemic, helping many in the Orlando community. He first earned his medical degree from Universidad Central de Venezuela and later moved to the United States to continue his education. He completed his residency at Albert Einstein Medical Center and his infectious diseases training at Temple University, both in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Since 2002, he has been part of the infectious disease team at Orlando Health, where he now serves as the chief of staff and medical director of infectious diseases at the Dr. P. Phillips Hospital. He has received several Attending of the Year awards and frequently appears among Orlando's best doctors. In 2012, he received the Lifetime Exemplary Physician Colleague Award given by Orlando Health. Dr. Crespo also takes time to serve as a clinical instructor at the Florida State University College of Medicine and as the new program director of the Infectious Diseases Fellowship at Orlando Health. His passion for teaching new generations has inspired many on the path of infectious diseases so that more doctors might continue the fight against these elusive enemies. And we all know the time we're in with the pandemic. It's important to highlight Hispanic heroes who are on the front lines of keeping our community safe. And I want to personally thank you on behalf of a grateful district, Dr. Antonio Crespo, for what you're doing here in Central Florida. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Representative Soto. Thank you for this recognition and for taking a moment to honor all of us here in right now. It's really a humbling experience. I never thought that after coming to the United States from Venezuela, I was going to have the opportunity to serve this community in a moment like this. It's been very difficult. It is a tremendous job that everybody in the front line has performed, and I would like to recognize all my co-workers, my teammates in infectious diseases, the nurses, all the physicians in the hospital, the respiratory therapies, environmental services, the people that actually go and take care of these patients day and night when these patients come and stay alone in the hospital with fear, not knowing exactly what's going to happen to them. And these are the people that are at their bedside, being sure that they feel safe and they give them love. I really want to thank you for all what you have done for our community. We'll continue this fight, and for everybody, stay safe and take the precaution that you have to take to avoid getting sick. And again, thank you for this moment.
Thank you, Dr. Crespone. Thank you to all our doctors, nurses, and other healthcare professionals at Orlando Health. You mentioned all those folks who help allow you to help command a broad group of professionals to help save lives. So thank you for that. You make our community so proud during what is a difficult time. And I would like to additionally say, we saw new offers today that were exchanged between the House Democrats and the White House. And I'm hopeful that we're going to see an updated HEROES Act relief package without delay by next week to make sure that you have the resources you need for testing, tracing, treatment, and a vaccine. And we're on 24 hours notice. So I'm looking any moment now to any minute to any day now to getting that call to go up to Washington to vote for a compromise package so that we have the resources that you'll need to help get our community out of the pandemic. Thank you again for what you all do to save lives. In honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, we would like to recognize Amilcar Cordova. Mr. Amilcar Cordova hails from Carolina, Puerto Rico. After high school, he moved to Pennsylvania, where he began his career in the health insurance industry. In 1994, he relocated to Orlando, Florida, with his family while he studied business administration at the Florida Metropolitan University, and later business management at the University of Phoenix. In 2003, he began working in the advertising industry with the largest newspaper in Puerto Rico, El Nuevo Dia, which just recently expanded again to Central Florida. He later co-founded and served on the board of directors of Amigos Profesionales Business Network, an organization whose purpose was to help connect Hispanic professionals and business owners in Central Florida. In 2010, he founded Cordova Marketing Solutions, a firm that specialized in the development of small businesses by providing consulting, marketing, and advertising services. During this time, he also joined the Puerto Rican Chamber of Commerce of Central Florida as its executive director, and in 2013 was elected their president until the end of his term in 2016. He would resume his role as president again in 2019. Mr. Cordova is proud of his upbringing in Puerto Rico and is very grateful for the opportunities that the United States has blessed him with on the mainland. He tries to give back to his community through volunteer work, including riding his bicycle for different charities. One especially close to his heart is the Young Survival Coalition, an organization dedicated to providing essential services for breast cancer survivors under the age of 40. Mr. Cordova shares his life with his best friend, Miss Millie Colon. He has 2 sons, 4 grandchildren, and is blessed to still have both his parents alive and well. And for that, Mr. Emil Cordova, we honor you, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Congressman Soto. It's really an honor to represent our community, our Hispanic community, but truly humble for the recognition. There's a lot of great citizens in our community that deserve this recognition, and I humbly take it for them as well. Thank you for always coming up with great initiatives and recognizing these hardworking citizens of our community. It is a pleasure to serve, especially our business owners in our Central Florida community. Thank you for everything you do. We should be honoring you for everything that you do. So thank you very much.
The time is to honor you and others, Mr. Cordova. Thank you so much for all you're doing to help out our entrepreneurs. So many folks coming from the island who are learning the new ways of doing business. In some ways, it's very easy to do business here in Central Florida, but there are things you need to know. And the Puerto Rican Chamber, under your leadership, has helped do that. When we're talking about empowering the Hispanic community, it is medicine, it is civil rights, it is spiritual, it is communications and reporting, it is nonprofits, and it's also entrepreneurship, making sure that people can pursue small businesses and grow to larger businesses so that we could have economic prosperity for the region. So thank you for all your leadership in that. We're very grateful for the great work that you continue to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman. It's a pleasure.
In honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, we would like to recognize Gabby Ortegani. Gabby Ortegani is the president of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce of Metro Orlando, which is responsible for promoting the economic development of a Hispanic community of over 1 million people. Some of the signature events and programs they have created to promote development in the community include the Hispanic Business Conference, the Hispanic Economic Growth Summit, and the Don Quixote Awards, among others. Prior to this, she served as the Regional Vice President for Central Florida at Prospera, a nonprofit organization that provides free bilingual technical assistance to Hispanic entrepreneurs who are establishing or expanding their businesses. Under her leadership, the region has achieved a 23% increase in clients who received individual consulting services. Gabby has also served her community in other roles, including being the manager of community relations at Orlando Utilities Commission, director of the Hispanic Crime Prevention Program for FIU's Center for the Administration of Justice, senior community officer for the Puerto Rico Federal Affairs Administration, and being a legislative assistant in the Florida House of Representatives. She currently serves as a board member of many local organizations, including the Orlando Economic Partnership, Heart of Florida United Way, the Association of Latino Professionals for America, and the National Latino Peace Officer Association, among many others. Her work ethic and commitment to her community have been recognized with numerous awards and recognitions, including the Orlando Business Journal 40 Under 40, Women Who Mean Business Award, Telemundo's Triunfadores, La Prensa's Hispanic Women Who Make the Difference Award, Orange County Sheriff's Community Service Award, Orlando Police Department's Good Citizenship, and she was named one of the 25 most influential Hispanics by HCCMO's Vision Magazine. And for that, Ms. Gabby Ortegani, we honor you, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Congressman Soto. It's really an honor to be recognized by you, but I mean, everything that you have done, what you represent, how proud we are. I mean, all of us, I think, have mentioned how incredibly proud we are of everything that you do and the way you represent us in Congress. But to me, this recognition particularly means a lot because I see a lot of people who have meant so much in my career, and I still worked with many of them and so many new people that are now in this new role. I mean, I've been in the chamber for about 2.5 years, but I still feel like I just joined yesterday. And I see Sulma, for example, she was my boss when I was in Prafa many years ago. I learned a lot from her. And now I see so many other people, Cecilia, who's also being recognized, Amilcar, who is a great colleague, and so many others, Father Jose. And I don't want to skip anyone, but so many of you who actually make our work easier, who the way we collaborate as a community and the way we do things together is the reason why I think our community is so special. And we're able to accomplish a lot of things because of the collaboration and the great mentors that we have in this community. So I'm very honored to receive this award, but I know that this award, it also goes to so many individuals who not only have meant so much to me, my mom, and so many people who have been in my journey, in my career, but it goes to so many members of the chamber, leaders in our community, the team of the chamber, the staff who I know have joined as well, who also work so much and allow me to look good in front of this and be able to receive these recognitions. But in reality, it's not just me, it's a lot of people who work together and put their efforts and passion to the chamber and to the Hispanic business community. So thank you so much.
And thank you for your contributions, Ms. Ortegani. You mentioned it already, as was talked a little bit about in our opening. You know, so many folks have mentored us over the years. Our parents, our family, our coworkers. You mentioned a few folks that you work with who are on this call. And this award is for the contributions of our honorees, but also all those folks who helped get them to where they have been today as major successes. And I want to thank you for appearing on some of our town halls to be a voice of business and also on the great work on the Paycheck Protection Program. Both you all, the Puerto Rican Chamber, and others were critical to helping connect entrepreneurs through the Paycheck Protection Program during what is a difficult time to help keep them afloat. And I'm hopeful that I'll be getting that call over the next few hours to days to go up to vote on a compromise package to do a second round to help out so many entrepreneurs who are in need as we look to get a vaccine before the end of the year and hopefully get most of the population vaccinated by mid next year. You know, we're within a year of getting through this, but there's going to be a lot of relief needed for small businesses, housing, for schools, for food assistance for the unemployed and others. And thanks for your leadership at the Hispanic Chamber, working with us to get the word out to so many small businesses in the community. In honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, we would like to recognize Cecilia Figueroa. Cecilia Figueroa is an Ecuadorian-American journalist and media strategist. She graduated as a journalist in her native city of Guayaquil, Ecuador. She learned about faith, perseverance, and serving others from her parents, Isaac Alvia and Olympia Ordonez. A woman pioneer in the print Hispanic media, her first job was at the El Nuevo Dia Orlando newspaper. Passionate about her work, she seeks stories promoting community outreach, education, and knowledge about immigration policies that are affecting the Latino community. Cecilia enjoys highlighting profiles of Hispanic entrepreneurs, organizations, faith-based communities, amongst others. She was the producer of the radio show Hispanos al Dia and was co-host in various other radio programs. She has provided professional services to EFE News Service, El Sentinel Orlando newspaper, and many others. In 2018, she co-founded Conexión Hispana USA, where she was a journalist and social media manager for the platform. In her free time, she loves to read and empower other Hispanic women to reach their dreams. Cecilia enjoys sharing her knowledge in educational workshops and conferences. She was the vice president of the National Association of Hispanic Journalists in Central Florida and a founding member of Mujer Emprende Latina Orlando. She is also an active member of the Hispanic American Professional and Business Women's Association of Florida. Cecilia has been recognized by various organizations for her involvement and contributions to the community causes, including Women's Day by the City of Kissimmee, the Puerto Rican Day Parade in Osceola, Nuevo Sendero, Tertulia Cuatro Gatos, Unidos por Ecuador of Central Florida, Ecuadorian Civic Committee of Central Florida, Voices of Silence, Evangelical Fellowship of Councils of Florida, and more. And for those amazing journalistic and civic contributions, Ms. Cecilia Figueroa, we honor you. The floor is yours.
Mute. Sorry, I was on mute. Thank you,
Right on.
Congressman. Now? Good. Thank you, Congressman Darren Soto, for this recognition. It's meant a lot to me because today is the Independence Day in my city, Guayaquil, Ecuador. So I just want to dedicate this recognition to my country, to my family, to my friends over there. I have it in my heart. I almost have here living for 20 years, but my heart is in my country with my family. I just want to thank my parents in heaven and my family for all the support, to my husband, William, and my daughter, Ariana. They are my rope, my support, and my motivation every day to do more. I just want to say thank you to my editors and journalists along the way with El Nuevo Día, La Prensa, El Sentinel, because I learned from them to write good stories about the Hispanic community. And that was the way I found a love, found passion about the story that I write every day, and the motivation to find more stories like you, Congressman Darren Soto. I have interviewed you so many times, and you encourage me about issues that impacting our Hispanic community in Central Florida. So all of them, and here too, there is Gabby and many others talented and professional members here that is part of our community. So I feel very blessed and humbled to receive this recognition. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Ms. Figueroa, for telling our stories. You mentioned the progression from the 90s and 2000s onward, how voices of Latinos were put into newspapers and on TV because of contributions from Hispanic journalists like you, telling our stories and doing so in a passionate way with so much hard work, going to so many different events that I've seen you at over the years. And this is how we get the word out for little nonprofits to candidates running for office to telling stories of how policies can affect Hispanic families throughout the district. So thank you for telling our stories and for helping enact change throughout Central Florida and the nation with really important and detailed bilingual media over the years. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
In honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, we would like to recognize Father Jose Rodriguez. Father Jose Rodriguez is the vicar of Iglesia Episcopal Jesus de Nazareth in Orange County, Florida. Originally from Puerto Rico, he arrived with his family to Azalea Park in 1987 and has been a part of that community now for over 3 decades. He learned from his parents the importance of service and advocating for others. His father was a soldier and his mother a shop steward for Unite Here Local 737 at Walt Disney World. He was the first in his family to go to college. He graduated from Rollins College with a BA and the University of Central Florida with an MBA. For many years, he served as the Episcopal chaplain to the University of Central Florida, where he and his wife served local students and young adults for nearly a decade. In 2017, he was assigned to Iglesia Episcopal Jesus de Nazareth, just months before Hurricane Irma and Hurricane Maria hit both Puerto Rico, and obviously Hurricane Irma hit our state as well. For both storms, the local church was mobilized to meet the people's needs. Their work is far from over. Welcoming newcomers has been a hallmark of the local Episcopal Church along the Cimarron corridor in Orlando and in Kissimmee, including feeding programs and advocacy for those in need. Father Jose and the local church empowers people to accomplish their goals by working with civic and elected leaders to remove barriers to equal access to opportunity. As a priest, Father Jose understands the unique role that religious communities can play in the development of a greater community. Preserving and upholding human dignity is at the heart of Father Jose and the local church's work. His desire is to build up a resilient community where all families have access to safe communities, a living wage, affordable housing, and healthcare. And for that, Father Jose Rodriguez, we honor you. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Congressman Soto. I'm really humbled to be here among my peers, my colleagues, my fellow community members. I think Gabby hit the nail on the head very well when she spoke about collaboration in our community. I want to add the word familia. We're all from different places, but we all have the same story, and we all share in the same opportunity for success. We see it in the variety of individuals that are being honored here today, and we see it in the communities that have brought us here today. It's easy for me to sit here and let you all applaud me, but the reality is I am part of a community of faith, a church, people like my parents, people like me, people like my children who work together to make sure that everyone is welcomed and everyone has a home in Azalea Park, regardless of what color, language, religion you are, only because we believe in human dignity. And we also believe in an entrepreneurial spirit. When actually, probably it's the MBA in me speaking, but when I see our people, I see hard workers who lift themselves up, who have an entrepreneurial spirit, who have dreams and come here and execute. You know, last night I was meeting with a family that had just arrived here, and the first thing she told me was, Padre, me ves como nada. Father, you see me like nothing, pero en mi país yo era alguien. And in my country, I was somebody. And I turned to her and I said, no, you are somebody. It's our job to help you be who you are, not who others want you to be. So I encourage everyone here, when we see our neighbor, continue to see who they are, see their full potential, and let us work together like we always have. I know most of you. Let's continue working together to uplift our people and let them achieve their dreams and let them be who they are, not who society wants them to be. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Congressman. I am so very honored to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Father Jose, for that wonderful story. We've heard many amazing sermons from your church, particularly uplifting those who came here from Puerto Rico, and for your work in helping us with mobile testing sites in East Orange County and East Orlando, more recently speaking up in the press to help those efforts. Absolutely critical and without question help save lives. And thank you for practicing what you preach and how your faith helps through good works improve our community. That sets an incredible example for so many others. Thank you for all you do. We're very grateful.
Gracias.
Gracias. In honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, we would like to recognize Wanda Ramos. Wanda Ramos was born and raised in Puerto Rico. She moved to Orlando, Florida in 1999 and became involved in fighting for workers' rights, empowering new voters, and creating awareness about the importance of parental involvement in education. Wanda has been a board member of various organizations such as Jobs with Justice, Labor Council for Latin American Advancement Community Legal Services of Mid-Florida, and the Legal Advocacy Center of Central Florida. While working as a retailer, Wanda organized workers to achieve better working conditions and better pay. She was a founding member of Vamos for Puerto Rico, Florida, and Palante por Más. Recently, she became a statewide board member of Organize Florida. As a founding member of Vamos por Puerto Rico, she helped to spearhead the campaign Se Habla Español to petition the Orange County Public Schools to provide language access to non-English speaking parents and students. She also advocated for the families arriving from Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria to better understand and properly enroll their kids in school. Wanda was recognized as Citizen of the Year in 2015 for Orange County District 3 after organizing neighborhoods in their efforts to improve their community. Wanda continues to support her community through radio shows as well as her online program, Wanda Contigo, bringing awareness about community issues. And for that, we honor you, Ms. Wanda Ramos. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Congressman Soto. As I cannot hold getting emotional today. I have my son and my daughter-in-law watching right now. And when I moved to Florida, my motivation was to be the best I could be for my son, because I wanted him to see the opportunities that are out there and what we represent as Latinos, as Puerto Ricanos, as Boricuas, and what that means to me and all of us to be represented wherever we go. As I am sitting here, seeing all the stories, all touch my heart, because we all bring something to make this world better. And as I see my son going through life and going through the process of living here in this state that is sometimes difficult to live in, and I see all his accomplishments, it makes me it makes me proud to see all that is possible and see all the people that are here making it possible for so many of us. So I am very humble and I am very proud to see all the people that are here today and all the ones that I see in my community doing great things for our Latinos, for our brothers and sisters, for humanity, for everybody that we come across that needs a hand. So today I receive this recognition, and I get motivated with the idea that there's more to do and there's more to share and there's more to teach others that are coming in here so they can have a better future and make this place better. So thank you, Congressman Soto, and thank you to whoever provided my name. Sometimes I don't see all the things that I am doing, I'm just doing, and I just move forward to the next thing. And I hope that I can do more great things for the community. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ramos. And to answer your question, Vivian Rodriguez, Sheila Asensio, and other members of our staff let's pull together so many heroes across the district to be able to highlight the amazing work that they're doing. Thank you for being a conscience of our community, whether it is empowering new voters,
thank you,
empowering students and families to get the best educational experience they can here in Orange County, whether it's making sure that local communities are given input in major decisions that may affect them. And I know you've been able to attend many of our town halls over the years and to help give our office advice. So thank you for standing up for justice for so many in Central Florida. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Congressman. And one more thing, there are a couple of people I wanted to mention and I want to thank.
Sure.
It was Lieutenant Colonel Consuelo Castillo Kickbush. If you ever hear her name somewhere, thank her. I learned many things about leadership from her. And I want to mention my brother and my sister that are in Puerto Rico. They were not able to join today. My brother Luis Ramos and my sister Jocelyn Ramos, because I always kept him in my heart and in my mind as we grew up with our parents, and we had to find our place in the world on our own. So, and they have become great leaders in their own back in Puerto Rico. So today I want to share this recognition, and I also share with them about their accomplishments and what they are doing. So
thank you. And we continue this theme of how we're a product of so many people's efforts and are joined by so many others in our even current efforts. So thank you for recognizing folks who've helped you get to this amazing position in our community to help enact meaningful change for families. We appreciate you, Ms. Ramos.
thank you.
In honor of Hispanic History Month, Hispanic Heritage Month, we would like to recognize Marcos Villar. Marcos Villar was born in Ponce, Puerto Rico, and moved to the United States at the age of 14. He currently resides in Orlando, Florida. Marcos holds a bachelor's degree in history from the University of Maryland and a master's degree in education from the University of Illinois. Marcos has worked in Chicago, Washington, D.C., and several cities in Florida, as well as in Puerto Rico, where he has designed and implemented innovative and successful programs and campaigns in government, labor, and nonprofit settings. He has worked on civic engagement campaigns in Florida since 2011, focusing on the Puerto Rican and Hispanic communities. Marcos worked as a teacher in Chicago in the 1990s. During his tenure at Roberto Community Academy, he was best known for working with at-risk youth and integrating arts and cultural programming into after-school programs. He was also an advisor for the student government body and a leader of local reform movements at the school. In January of 2002, he moved to Washington, D.C., where he held several national leadership posts, including National Field Director for Que Nada Nos Detenga, Executive Director for America's Families United, National Political Director for Service Employees International Union, SEIU, and National Field Director for Mi Familia Vota Education Fund. Today, Marcos serves as President and Executive Director of Alianza for Progress, Alianza Center, United for Progress PAC, and Villar Strategies LLC. He is also the founder of two prominent statewide Latino coalitions, Respeta Mi Gente and La Mesa Boricua. For these amazing accomplishments and continuing to make a huge difference in our community, both in election time and during times of governing, we recognize Marcos Villar. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Congressman. Today, I haven't, let's say it this way, I haven't felt like this since I brought my report card to my mom and dad when I was in grammar school, I guess. And I'm so happy that they're here with me today. And I think some of my daughters are here also on this program. I don't have a lot of opportunity to share with them these days, particularly since COVID. Obviously, we're far away and we don't have a chance to travel as much as before. But it's very, very, it's a big honor for me. And it's not only because of what I've done in my life or because my parents are here, but with the people that are being recognized today. I know most of you. Gabi, for example, was one of the first people I met when I first came to Orlando in 2002. And she was part of the Que Nada Nos Detenga campaign. And we did an incredible amount of work during that time. When we were trying to elect the first congressman from first Puerto Rican congressman from Central Florida, Eddie Diaz, back at that time. And also in that election, John Quiñones also became the first state representative, the first Puerto Rican, not the first Puerto Rican, but the first Puerto Rican at that point.
Second.
Yeah, there was probably third. I think Anthony Suarez was second, and Bob Guevara, I think, was there also, and then in South Florida, Mr. Ferre, Mayor Ferre.
Sure.
But it was the early days when the community was really wanting representation and really was fighting hard and had that thirst in their soul to have Puerto Rican representation. And I'm so happy also to have been part of your campaign and being able to support you when you ran for Congress, and when the former congressman tried to also contest you on your second term. We're very, very proud that we played a part in that. But the community is a lot more than politics. Building community is so much more than election and so much more than politics. And I want to point to something that perhaps is one of the most proudest things that I've done in my life, and that is be part of the struggle to rename Stonewall Jackson Roberto Clemente Middle School. And I want to dedicate my award tonight to my family, to my staff, to all the people that are honored here tonight, because they are people who there's just a couple that I think I've never met or I don't know that well, but it is a community effort that builds power in our community, and it's not just about elections. It's about our legacy as people that come through here for a limited amount of time and then, leave something behind. And I think that we've done an amazing job, and that was not done by me. That was done by all of the people that worked on here. Wanda, Julio, Father Jose, so many others Sulma Velez Estrada, who's been a longtime friend, and so many other people. So I'm very thankful of being able to be here, present in this moment, and whatever I've been able to do to bring people together and to move important accomplishments for our community as a whole. We work hard, but then we celebrate these victories. And thank you, Congressman, for the recognition. It means a lot to me. And I dedicate it again to my mom and dad who are here watching, and my sister and everybody else. Thank you.
Mr. Villar, let me start by telling your parents his community gives him an A+ on this report card. And what you said is right. Elections are a means to an end. The end is to uplift our community, improve the quality of life of all the residents in Central Florida. And to those ends, there's been a lot of fights that you and Alianza have been amazing leaders in, from issues directly affecting people like making sure that Hispanic families are listened to in the schools, and making sure in the justice system that we have state attorneys that understand forgiveness and second chances, things that you all have worked directly on, making sure ballots are bilingual, and we're empowering folks with second chances to be able to come back and to be able to vote after they've made mistakes, and to fight for issues that are important for the future of our history. When a school that once began in what was more traditionally the South becomes enmeshed and surrounded by a thriving, vibrant Hispanic community, Stonewall Jackson perhaps is no longer the appropriate name. And kids are going to learn about Roberto Clemente. Yes, the amazing baseball player, also the philanthropist, and the important contributions because of those changes. And I even want to mention last night, we had an amazing event that Alianza hosted with Attorney Tony Suarez, so it was fitting that we talked to him on this call, about Suheli, a muralist, a young Puerto Rican woman who we get to celebrate her Vote Like a Madre mural that is now on Attorney Suarez's building. And it's those moments of lifting up both culturally, historically, and directly with policy changes that are the many legacies that you're not only leaving behind, but you're writing as we speak. So thank you for all those contributions to our community.
I did forget, Congressman, if I may,
please,
to recognize one person that makes it so much easier to do everything that we do, because she always got my back, and she's always pleasant, and she's always kind and considers and lets me work so hard at what I do. And that is this beautiful woman that's here next to me, Carol Landaeta, my wife.
Marcos, you saved yourself on that one, man. We are all, having a supportive spouse, a supportive family is so important. So thank you, Ms. Villar, for all you do to help us get to spend a lot of time with Marcos to help improve our community. Like Amanda Soto, that takes a strong woman or a strong husband to be able to help allow us to do that. And the last thing I'll say on this is, a lot of people here know each other. There's these synergies. Let me suggest those are not by accident. It's been this familia that was spoken about already by Father Jose. We may have been born of different mothers and fathers, but we have all found each other to help lead this community. And which is why it's no surprise that many of you have worked together many times over the years. It's been that synergy and that unity in many issues across the Hispanic community that has allowed us to continue our march ahead to more progress. There's much work done, there's no doubt about it. But this synergy is because we've all sought each other out and worked with each other in a collaborative way. And I'm glad you mentioned that, Mr. Villar. So thank you. In honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, we would like to recognize Julio Zayas. Julio Zayas was born in Salinas, Puerto Rico in 1948. He moved to New York City in 1968, where he and his wife established their family in the Bronx. He has 4 wonderful children, 7 grandchildren, and 5 great-grandchildren. Wow, that's amazing. Julio studied at Hostos Community College and attended Cambridge University's New York chapter, where he developed his skills as a radio announcer and in advertising. He was a member of several civic and cultural organizations in the Bronx, including the Puerto Rican Development Project, Alianza Civica Bayamonesa, the Salinas Club, and the Puerto Rican Veterans Association in Seneca. Julio became vice president of the Bronx, Puerto Rican Parade, and was the founder and president of the Puerto Rican Bronx Fair and Puerto Rican Week Festival. He worked as a consultant for the Bronx Coalition for a Better Bronx and the Soundview Community in Action as the outreach coordinator and publisher. A successful small business owner, Julio was also a poll inspector for the Bronx Board of Elections. In 2012, Julio retired to Orlando, Florida. He continued his community involvement as a volunteer with several Puerto Rican activist organizations, including Frente 436, Iniciativa Acción Puertorriqueña, Coordinadora Ayuda, Solidaridad y Apoyo, Vamos por Puerto Rico, and is founder and president of Comité Preservación Cultura Puertorriqueña. Currently, he is the producer of his own radio show, Con Sabor Boricua Proyecto Radial. Julio is looking forward to other projects in the future to empower the Puerto Rican community in Central Florida. Mr. Zayas, thank you for all your contributions, and the floor is yours.
Congressman Soto, I do not see Julio here today with us. So,
well, let me, speaking on his behalf, which you know he's pretty outspoken, so I know he would have a lot to say here today, but he has been an amazing voice both on the radio and in electoral politics to always volunteer and be passionate about issues facing the Puerto Rican community. We know there's a deeply rooted diaspora of Puerto Ricans in the Bronx still to this day, and in New York City rivaling Central Florida. And it's amazing to see those connections between New York City and Central Florida to this day. And for folks who've lived in all 3 areas, which is very common. We appreciated his continued passionate advocacy, both on the radio and in political activism for our community. And for that, we honor Mr. Julio Zayas. We have called an audible over the last few days based upon other unsung heroes that were highlighted in the Orlando Sentinel recently. When we saw a headline, an effect saying 2 Latinos help boost Second Harvest Food Bank's efforts across Central Florida, knowing the backdrop of they've literally had to double their food output to help feed our community, including many in the Hispanic community. It's a late-breaking entry, so this wasn't read as a resolution, but we have put together 2 letters of commendation because that headline, that story, their stories, their contributions touched our staff particularly meaningfully. And so I would like to briefly read the letters of commendation and recognize both of them doing amazing work for Second Harvest Food Bank in Central Florida. First, Ricardo Rebolledo. And our letter to him reads, I'm writing to commend you on your dedicated work ethic during the COVID-19 pandemic in assisting the Second Harvest Food Bank in Central Florida to feed and help numerous families in need. Your workload doubled, as we talked about, and your leadership to combat hunger in Central Florida is greatly appreciated by our constituents in Congressional District 9. Thank you, and I'll paraphrase, for your passion and drive and tremendous positivity. By the way, we saw from your coworkers some background, and they are describing you as having tremendous positivity. So that's amazing, to uplift families who've lost their jobs and are struggling every day. And your coworkers have also went on to call you someone who has a positive can-do attitude. Isn't that someone we all want in our organizations? And that this positive can-do attitude has helped you attain success and respect of your peers. So Mr. Ricardo Robledo, we commend you, and I want to give you a moment to say a few words.
Well, it's a really great honor to get this recognition, and I want to say thank you to you, especially because every time we at the meetings and we having meetings to do daily projects and things that we got to tackle first, your name comes up, Darren Soto, and so I would say thank you to you, dude, because with you, Second Harvest, and your leadership, we helping out the people out there, the community, and that's what motivate me more. I want to say thanks to my mom and dad too for the great job that they did. As growing up in New York, you know, they direct me through the great path of helping people. They always help people a lot, so I guess I got that on my blood, and I'm here to help them. Especially when I'm at work, you know, and I hear the stories of kids, especially saying thank you, especially to us for making their day go better by them having a meal at their table. That's breaking heart right there. So I would say thank you, and I wasn't expecting this recognition, but thank you very much.
Well, we're very grateful for what you're doing to help feed families throughout Central Florida. And not to be outdone, your colleague we also want to commend is Carlos Santamaria. Our letter to him reads that we commend you on your dedicated work ethic during the COVID-19 pandemic in assisting Second Harvest Food Bank. We know the workload has doubled. We know that hunger is at deep risk for so many young people, and so we appreciate that. And they have talked about how you have stepped up during natural disasters in the COVID-19 pandemic. This is your coworkers helping inform us, inspired future generations to follow your lead. And as Director of Operations at the Second Harvest Food Bank, we know that your positive attitude has really helped folks continue through this very difficult time. Mr. Santamaria, thank you. We commend you and would like for you to say a few words. We appreciate you.
Thank you. I really appreciate this. I never thought I would be here, to be honest with you. We never expected. We do what we do because we like it. We enjoy, the work that we do and to help our community. Again, like Ricardo said, every meeting that we have, we always hear your name, and we definitely thank you for the support that you give Second Harvest. And I just want to thank my family and everybody else that have been there for us during this time. So, I mean, it's crazy times. But again, we love what we do and we want to continue doing it no matter what. So again, on behalf of those that cannot speak, Mr. Congressman, we really thank you.
Well, we have your backs. We appreciate the great work that Second Harvest is doing. We know the CARES Act funding is going to be running out soon. And so I look forward to any hour to any day now to get to go up to vote for a updated Compromise Heroes Act that continues to get you all the funding you need to stock all the food pantries throughout many counties, including 2 in the district, Orange and Osceola County. And we know with the demand doubling, how much pressure you are under and how you all have stepped up in a way that is a miracle, really. And I'll end just by saying that yesterday we had one of your colleagues on our town hall, and they told us a story that there was a gentleman who had pulled up in a pretty decent car with kids in the back, a single dad, and you could tell he had recently just lost his business and wasn't expecting it. And his kids, because kids are so honest, said, "Daddy, are we going to be able to eat today?" And he broke down and cried and said yes. And that was a story at one of your food distribution events that you're having. And these are stories across Central Florida. You all are making such a difference. Thank you for what you're doing. And we're going to continue to do everything we can to get you the funding you need so that we can make sure no child, no family, no senior, no person with disability, no Central Floridian is going to go hungry during this crisis. And we will get beyond it. Let me end where I began, which is the stories, right? The stories are just amazing of so many heroes throughout our district. I know most of you didn't expect to get nominated or recognized, and you didn't do it to get nominated or recognized. You did it because that's who you are. You see a community that has needs, and you've stepped up as heroes to help fill them in so many different areas that are so important to the Hispanic community in crisis right now, whether it's in the healthcare profession, whether it's in cultural activities, whether it's in nonprofits and civic engagement, whether it's in our entrepreneurial and business efforts, whether it's in journalism, in radio, and so many other ways as local community activists. All these are critical parts of improving our community, and we appreciate your leadership. We're gonna take a photo for our social media pages now. I believe, Clarissa, we have you on the line to be able to take that. If everybody wouldn't mind us to smile and allow us to take a photo real quick. Why don't you count us off, Clarissa?
All right, Clarissa actually had to jump off, so I'll do it for everyone.
Delaney, please.
Give me 1 second. All right, so 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Thank you so much to all of our honorees, to your family members, friends, and coworkers who participated. You all are part of these recognitions, and we're humbled to be able to make sure that your stories are told, that they are part of the congressional record for the future of American history. These stories need to be told. On behalf of the over 900,000 constituents that I represent, thank you for your contributions to our community, and hope you have a meaningful remainder of your Hispanic Heritage Month. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe, healthy. God bless you. and call us if you need us. We're here to help. We appreciate it. And that concludes our program. Thank you.